Now let's talk a little bit more about what this appointment means. Rishi Sunak's appointment to the UK's top office may have great symbolic value for India in particular. After all, an Indian-origin brown-skinned Hindu man will now head a country that ruled India for 200 years. The unmissable irony may be a moment of great pride for some Indians, but does it really change anything as far as the UK's relationship with India is concerned? Are we going to see bilateral ties undergo a complete overhaul under Sunak? Or will Sunak stick to maintaining the prevailing status quo? In the next few minutes, we'll take you through his personal beliefs and professional values and try to understand what he brings to the table vis-a-vis India-UK ties. First things first. If we go by the American example, where another Indian American holds a top office, it is very much likely that Sunak will be equally sensitive to charges of favoritism, to critiques and commentary that he may be too focused on India during his tenure, simply because his relatives belong to the country. So this is a path that many expect Sunak to tread carefully on. He is the British Prime Minister after all. His job is to serve British citizens, so expecting Sunak to go out of his way and build better ties with India would be wishful thinking. That said, Sunak is pretty open about his Indian origins, especially his beliefs. He is a practicing Hindu who regularly visits temples in his birthplace, Southampton. In fact, he has repeatedly stressed on how proud he is of his identity. This is what he said in a recent media interview. Allow me to quote, "I can proudly say that I am a Hindu, and being a Hindu is my identity. It gives me strength, it gives me purpose, it's part of who I am." That's not all. Earlier this year, when he was campaigning for Tory leadership, he tweeted pictures and videos of himself praying on Lord Krishna's birthday. He also tweeted pictures of himself worshipping cows, a ritual followed by many devout Hindus. 2 years before this, in November 2020, he made history by lighting lamps on Diwali at 11 Downing Street. And 3 years before that, he swore his oath to the Parliament on a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. So Sunak's dedication to his roots and beliefs had instilled hope among many Indians that he will work on bringing the two countries closer. But what about Sunak? Does he hold the same views? Truth be told, Sunak has often stressed on how he wants to change the UK's dynamic with India, how he wants to make the relationship a two-way exchange of sorts that opens up easy access to UK students and companies in India. This is what he said a few months back at an event in North London. I'm quoting again. "We are all very aware of the opportunity for the UK to sell things and do things in India, but actually we need to look at that relationship differently because there is an enormous amount that we here in the UK can learn from India." There's more. "I want to make sure that it's easy for our students to also travel to India and learn that it's also easy for our companies and Indian companies to work together because it's not just a one-way relationship, it's a two-way relationship. And that's the type of change I want to bring to that relationship." I repeat, that's the type of change I want to bring. So how does he plan on bringing this change? What exactly does he intend to do? To start with, he intends to take forward the schemes and initiatives that were laid in place by former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, like a free trade agreement that was announced by Johnson on his visit to India, with the intention of deepening economic and strategic ties. Last we checked, this agreement was still in place. And Sunak's appointment as Prime Minister has only given it a new impetus. At least that's what reports are saying, that Rishi Sunak taking the top office has renewed hopes about the agreement reaching its much-needed completion. Next, Sunak has also been supportive of India assuming a greater role in the Indo-Pacific. This is what he said back in July. "I'm very supportive of India playing an increasingly influential role in the region and indeed in the world as a massive economy and the world's largest democracy. And an FTA would prove a greater champion of that cause. And then, of course, we come to the issue of visa restrictions and backlogs, a hassle that many Indian students have to deal with. You see, the UK has something called the HPI, the High Potential Individual Visa. It allows graduates from the world's top 50 universities to work within the UK. But unfortunately, it doesn't include a single Indian institution. Think about that, not even a single one. Sunak has been at the helm of addressing this concern. He has repeatedly stressed on expanding the terms of this visa. This is what he had said earlier this year. I'm quoting again. Our plan over time is to expand what we consider to be markers of high potential in individuals. So that would mean that the list with all the qualifying criteria for that visa develops over time. The second thing I'd say is that visa applies to people at the university. So it will benefit Indian nationals. So we have visas, bilateral investments, free trade agreement, and greater market access. Sunak promises to improve India-UK ties on all 4 counts. While this may not imply that the ties are going to be quote-unquote special, but if you go by Sunak's track record and statements, one can surely expect the 2 countries to open a new chapter in their relationship.
Has the power to transform all our lives for the better and also create tons of jobs people, which is fantastic. How did you find out about
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.